Welcome everyone to the Wolves Den and our very first toy review. As our first review, I'm going to be doing the G.I. Joe and Transformers San Diego Comic-Con 2016 exclusive. This exclusive contains 2 figures and 2 vehicles. And you can see the 2 figures standing next to the very large box that everything comes in. I was not able to go to the Comic-Con, but I was able to snag this off Hasbro Toy Shop a few weeks back. And so, let's take a look at everything inside. Alright, first thing we're going to do is take a look at the G.I. Joe side of things with the figure included, and that is Scarlett. Get a good look at her here. Let's go through the articulation really quick. Her head moves side to side, slightly down. It's about as far down as she goes, and doesn't go up at all, really. She's got, head popped off. Got the ab crunch here. Doesn't go very far down. Doesn't go back at all. And then she rotates at that same joint. Shoulders move 360 and then up there and down there. Elbows bend and rotate all the way around. Wrists rotate all the way around. Legs move to the side about that far, and then forward about that far, and then not really back at all. Knees got a 2-way bend, double jointed, which is nice. Feet move up and down a little bit, about that far, and then spin all the way around. Alright. You'll notice she has this web gear, which fits her reasonably well, even though it's not designed for her. This is your traditional Cobra Trooper web gear that they've been using since about 2007, I believe. Like I said, it fits alright, but it's not a perfect fit. You know, it looks okay on her standing there, but I'm going to take it off right now just so that we can get a better look at the overall figure. And here's a better look at the web gear. Alright, now the figure itself has a really good paint job on the face. The eyes look really well done, as do the lips. She's got your traditional Scarlet colors throughout. You got the yellows, a little bit of red on the belt, the little patch there, the dark greens throughout on the arms and the legs. The only thing that stands out kind of weird is this silver on the back of her boots. I'm not sure why they used silver there and didn't stick with yellow or green. It just looks a little off. As far as the paint job goes, that's probably the thing I dislike the most, and that's that silver on the boots. Otherwise, she's got your traditional Scarlet colors. They look really well on her. You know, it's not, you know, a true like update of the, 1982 version or anything like that, but they, use some new tooling, reuse some tooling, and put together a really nice looking Scarlet figure. Kind of a homage, but not a complete remake of the original figure. And I think, overall it's a really good looking figure. I really like this Scarlet, except for 2 things. Well, maybe 3 things. I mentioned the color on the boots. That's not that glaring a thing. It's a little strange, but it's not that off-putting. The second thing, which also isn't that off-putting, but I don't like it, is the web gear. I said it fits reasonably well, but I don't think it fits that well, and I think it kind of detracts from her. So I honestly will probably not leave it on her when she's displayed. So those two things aren't major, but the glaring thing about this figure is the head sculpt. While they did a really good paint job on the figure, or on the face, I think that the face is just very bland. It's very flat. You know, you kind of look at it from that way. It's just a very flat face, kind of featureless in many ways. It's just, it was probably a decent head sculpt in 2007, but here in 2016, there's so many head sculpts they could have reused or made a new one for this figure. I just think it kind of detracts from the figure. So everything else looks really good. I just dislike this head sculpt. Alright, let's take a look at the few accessories she comes with. You know, we have the web gear back here. Secondly, we have a classic figure stand, which says G.I. Joe on the top with the two pegs and her name. Then she comes with this nice backpack with her arrows in it, and it fits on her quite nicely. Peg that into the back. You know, the ponytail goes around it quite well, so it doesn't like have her head in some strange position. So that fits on her quite well. Then, as always, she comes with this crossbow, which comes in two parts. This part here pops right off, and sometimes falls off quite easily. Hopefully it'll stay in place for me here as I slot that in her hand. And lastly, she comes with a file card. And I'll let you take a look at that. Alright, so overall, I like this figure. Like I said, I don't like the head sculpt. Other than that, everything else I'm fine with. I think the figure looks good overall. Alright, next we are going to take a look at the Cobra side of things, and we have Zartan, the Master of Disguise. Let's take a quick look at his articulation here. We have his head that turns side to side. Shoulders rotate around, move up and down. Elbows rotate and bend. Wrist rotates. Legs move to the side, quite far actually, and move forward. He's got one bend at the knee and no articulation at the foot at all. He's also rotates mid-torso, and he's got a little bit of ab crunch there. Not very much. Goes back a little bit, forward a very little bit, but not much at all there. Alright. Looking the figure over, head sculpt again on this figure is really good. Got the nice plastic hood. He's got some nice shoulder pads that go well with his chest piece there. Also some pads on the legs, nice black color. You know, some different shades of grays and blacks throughout. Nice red on the elbow pads and on the arms that matches hood. So he does look, overall he looks nice, at least color-wise. But I do have some problems. First off, you know, would be the joint in the knee. It's only a single joint, which isn't terrible. It's, you know, you can work with it. You know, double joints would be nice. But the total lack of any articulation down in the feet is kind of disappointing. Also, his chest piece does make him look, I don't know, really awkward in the upper body. It makes his lower body just look so skinny, so small in comparison. So that web gear does not seem to work well with the figure very much. He is a nice looking figure. You know, the paint apps look really nice on him. You know, it's a decent overall design, but that piece of armor there, that chest piece, just does not look well with the rest of the figure. Alright, let's take a look at some of the accessories that he comes with. And he comes with numerous. First we have his stand with the Cobra symbol and his name there. He's got many weapons. He's got some swords. 2 swords that fit in this nice sheath. He's got a nice shotgun here. And a sniper rifle. And a pistol. He also comes with 3 different heads. We have a Storm Shadow head, and on all the heads you'll notice there's this red clear part, and the eyes are kind of red also. So it's kind of got that light piping effect. Can have glowing eyes if you shine a light through it, and he's got his... Oop. There it is. He's got his kind of generic face here. You can see the red there. The red eyes. And lastly, he has this black kind of ninja head. It's not really snake eyes. I don't know if it's supposed to be. And oddly enough, it's just there's no red piece there. I don't know if they're supposed to be and mine just didn't include it, or if it's supposed to be empty like that. So that I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this head looks like just kind of a more of a generic kind of black ninja head. Doesn't really look like snake eyes to me. Next we have another piece of web gear, which has the slit in the top where the light piping would go through. So if you want to use these heads and get that effect, you would have to put this piece of gear on that Zartan. I think all these heads and this web gear come from the Wave 1 Retaliation Zartan. And I don't actually have that figure, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is just that same figure, maybe with a different head sculpt and this armor. I think the body might be the same as that figure. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. And lastly, here is his file card. Take a look at that for a second. And before I leave Zartan, I think I will put this piece of web gear on just to see what it looks like. So let's pause for a second. Alright, here we have the Zartan with the second piece of web gear on. It fits better on him than the other web gear. It doesn't make him look too bulky. And you can see the slit lines up there with the red part in the one of his alternate heads. But honestly, I just don't like how this looks. It looks like he's got a pinhead. It just, I don't know, I just do not like the way that particular web gear works. It just looks kind of awkward on him. Alright, so that is Zartan. Let us move on to the vehicles. Alright, here we have the Transformer side of things. We have Soundwave in the form of a Hisstank. And no, he does not transform into Soundwave, it is just a Hisstank. This particular mold was last used, or first used I should say, in 2005. And you'll notice I don't have any decals on it at all because I'm not sure I want to put any on there. Because I don't know that I want this tank to represent Soundwave. I just might use it as a, you know, just a generic Hisstank. But I do have the decal sheet right here. As you can see, it is very shiny. We've got the Decepticon symbol right there, amongst some of the others. There are no Cobra symbols anywhere on this sticker sheet. So if I did want it to be a Hisstank, I might have to find some stickers from somewhere else to apply to this thing, or just leave it blank. Not sure yet. This tank has a lot of nice little features on it. I'll point out that the treads do not roll at all. They just have some wheels on the bottom there that spin. So the treads are just for show. But it does have these nice guns on the side that shoot. And a couple of guns up top that you can move up and down. And they shoot also quite well. The upper turret does spin, kind of clicks as it turns, so you kind of have to give it some little force to turn it. We've got the driver's cockpit here. Let's see if I can get that open. There we go. And we'll just slide Zartan in there. And he fits in there quite well. It's a good fit. We've got these little machine guns up front here that can rotate a little bit. You know, they do pop in and out. They're just pegged in there. Let's see, we've got the back has a nice opening here, so you can have some troops waiting in there. There's side doors, so you could again have troops. You'd probably have to kneel them down, but you can get a couple guys in there on that side and then a couple more on this side. So you could have a bunch of Cobra troops being transported or shooting out the sides or whatever. So it does have those nice, you know, play features. So it's not just a regular old solid brick of a Hisstank. You can actually fit some guys in there and transport them around. Let's get Zartan back out. And then, as with all Hisstanks, there is the turret at the top, and you can fit a figure in up there, and he fits in there quite nicely. One last little note. The one negative that I guess I can say about this tank is there is a peg right here, so to stand a guy on the back, but the peg is too big. I couldn't fit Zartan on there. His foot pegs are a little too small to fit on that peg. And I can't think of any modern Joe figure that has foot pegs any larger than that. So I think this peg is probably pretty useless for modern Joe figures. Other than that, you know, I really like this tank. I think it's got a good look. It's got, you know, the nice blue Cobra colors. So if you don't want it as Soundwave, you could make it a Cobra Hisstank. And last but not least, it does come with a file card for Soundwave. So I'll let you get a good look at that. And let's move on to the final piece of this box set, and that will be Powerglide. Alright, our final piece for this box set is Powerglide in the form of a Cobra Rattler. And this mold of the Rattler is, I believe, the same as the original. It looks exactly the same to me, so I believe they just used the original mold or remolded it from a Rattler they had sitting around. Either way, it's identical to the original one other than the colors. So let's take a look at some of the features on our Powerglide here. We have a front cannon that rotates. As you can probably see, mine is a bit warped, but it still rotates, just not very well. We have the front cockpit here, which the back part flips open. This part just kind of comes right off. Quite easily, actually. And we fit Zartan in there. If we can. I know we can. There he goes. So he fits in there really well. So even though this was designed for Joe figures from the 80s, you know, which are smaller than the modern era Joe figures, the new figures fit in there, you know, really well. So there's no issue with that. They're not too large for the seat. Okay, let's close that up. Next you'll notice we've got a little hatch here, which can pop right off. And then if you get in a dogfight, well, you got a little battle damage. So you've got that one there, and there's one on the back side here. But this one is harder to get off, and I don't feel like forcing it right now. So you do have this piece right there that you can fit in there. Also, the fuselage covers come off like so. Got some little clips holding them in there. Snap it in. We've got an array of bombs and missiles along the wings here. I didn't put them in any particular order, so wherever you want to put them, I guess, is fine. We've got the wheels, landing gear. Wheels do spin. The landing gear are made of a cheaper feeling plastic, so I'm afraid they might break if you're not too careful. So show some care when putting those up and down. There we go, and that kind of locks into place there. And the last feature to show is the gunner's position up here. Does open up, and the gun moves up and down, spins around. And let's see if we can get Zartan in there. Oh, you'll notice that does pop off. So let's just pop it off and see if we can get him in there. And he fits in there pretty good too. So there's really no issue with modern figures fitting in that cockpit or that gunner's position either. Just notice that spins nicely. Gun moves up and down. Again, I did not put any stickers on it because, again, I'm not sure what I want to do with it. But you look at the sticker sheet here. You do have some Cobra Air Force symbols here. You got some Autobot symbols here, and then just all the other stickers that are on there. So really, it's up to you what you want to do with it. If you want it to be an Autobot or like some sort of Rattler, you know, not a traditional blue one, maybe a crimson one or something. All right. Last thing here, we have the file card for Powerglide. Let you take a look at that there. Alright, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this review of the San Diego Comic-Con 2016 exclusive for G.I. Joe and Transformers. And I hope you all have a good day, and hopefully I'll have some new reviews up soon that you can all check out. Thanks for watching.